I want to talk about my top 5 games of the year. Now, I gotta say, not every game I mentioned was actually released this year.
Damn you.
But I got my PlayStation about a year ago, so I figured why not throw it all on this list. These 5 games made a pretty big impact on me. Binky's back there going crazy. Hold on. Binky's gonna help me out with the list. So I hope you guys don't mind my co-host today. She's a little rambunctious. And I do want to say, this is just my opinion, you guys. This isn't a definitive list. I don't think that everything I say isn't up for debate. You guys could definitely in the comments below let me know what your favorite games of the year were. And if you disagree with anything on my list. Or if you agree, that's cool too. So without further ado, let's get started with my top 5 games of 2023. Number 5, Cyberpunk 2077. How many times have you guys heard YouTubers talk about Cyberpunk?
That's too damn bad!
It's been a pretty crazy story and honestly an interesting one. When Cyberpunk came out, I played it on the original Xbox One. I was disappointed as hell, man. I really was. When it first came out, it was a mess. It was a hot mess. There's no way to really excuse it. I remember being a part of that whole Witcher 3 hype. I love the Witcher series. I think they're really, really good. Obviously, the first 2 are a little more on the jank side. The third one really knocked it out the park. So it felt like a kind of given that CD Projekt Red would keep going, you know, keep the ball rolling with Cyberpunk. And that just wasn't the case. That release was just bad. I remember just not playing it for a few years. And then on YouTube, I seen basically the new patches and all the updates. So I said, hey, why not? I bought it a second time. On discount though. I bought it a second time for my PS5 and I've been playing it and I gotta say, wow. Cyberpunk, hey, I'm holding this mic, but if I wasn't, I'd be clapping for you guys.
That boy is good. Good and terrible.
They really made it to be the game we wanted it to be. And it shows, man. It shows, especially on the next gen. It's really dope. The graphics are amazing. The gameplay, everything actually works how it's supposed to. I really appreciate what they've done with the game. I'll be honest, I haven't played the Phantom Liberty, and I'll probably get into that soon enough. I do look forward to playing it and giving it a try at some point. But the simple fact that the base game has basically been fixed is really awesome. So shout out to CD Projekt Red for really stepping it up on that. Number 4. This next game is actually a pretty old game now at this point, I think, and that'll be Rocket League. Rocket League, I felt like mentioning it because it really is my personal comfort game. You know what I mean? Like after a long day, whether it be at work or just dealing with a bunch of crap, whatever it be, nothing feels better than coming home, looking at that PS5 cut on, and pressing on Rocket League. I mean, what can I not say about What can I say about Rocket League that hasn't already been said? I don't really know what's been said about it, but I assume it's all good things. It's one of those games where it's really hard to get into it. When you first start off, it kind of seems like, how the hell do I play this?
I give up.
But once you start catching your rhythm and putting some hours in, it gets pretty addictive. And I would know because on my PS5 alone, I have 70 hours. And back on my old Xbox, Lord knows I probably clocked in over 100 hours on that thing. I really enjoy Rocket League, and hopefully I bring some more content related to Rocket League to you guys. I'm not like super pro grand champion level, but I'm not half bad. And I really enjoy playing the game, so hopefully I can bring you guys some more content with that soon. Number 3, God of War. Yeah, y'all knew I was gonna say this, huh? God of War, man. What a badass game. I know it may not be everybody's cup of tea necessarily, but man, you really can't go wrong with AAA when it comes to a game like God of War. They really upped the ante on this one. I remember playing the first reboot in 2018, I think. What a great story. What a dope way to refresh the gameplay. I mean, there was so much going for that 2018 version, and they basically just doubled it up on Ragnarok. And Ragnarok was awesome. The gameplay was bigger and badder. The story was bigger and badder. Maybe not as tightly knit as the first story, but still a great serviceable story. The feeling of having Kratos chop a mother with an axe is never gonna get old. I definitely look forward to seeing where they take God of War 3. I think God of War is to the PlayStation what Halo was for the Xbox back in its heyday. And that might be kind of a stretch because the PlayStation houses a lot of great exclusive titles. That's a perfect segue into my next game, which is number 2, Spider-Man 2. Damn, that crazy fire. Now, don't get me wrong, Spider-Man 2 doesn't do anything super innovative in the way that maybe you've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? What it does it damn near perfectly. I mean, as close as to like a perfect action adventure game as you can get. Insomniac nailed it with Spider-Man 2. The simple vibe of having 2 different playable Spider-Mans, it's kind of a gimmick, but man, when you see it on screen, when you see Peter and you see Miles and they're just broing it up, saving the day, it's something about that just brings out your inner nerd, your inner kid, you know what I mean? And really gets you hyped to play. The most impressive part about Spider-Man 2 is simply the loading times. I should say the non-existent loading times, because I don't think I've seen a single loading screen. I mean, they really are big boy flexing, like, you know what I'm saying, letting their nuts drag on that, because the no loading time is honestly, it sounds silly, but when you see it in action, it's crazy, son. It's crazy. Spider-Man 2 is definitely giving God of War a run for its money when it comes to the PlayStation poster child. I'll tell you that much. If you haven't played it already, if you haven't played any of these games that I mentioned already, what are you doing, man? So, drum roll, please. I gotta hold this microphone, so I can't do a drum roll. It's a little ghetto right now, y'all. Anyways, number 1, Baldur's Gate 3. Bruh, Baldur's Gate 3 really took me by surprise. It was developed by Larian Studios, and apparently it's been their biggest game that they've released. My first introduction to Larian Studios was Divinity Original Sin 2, and I remember playing it and thinking, this is pretty awesome. And then I kind of set it down and then forgot about it. And so when Baldur's Gate 3 came around and all the hype surrounding it, I was like, oh yeah, buddy. Yes. Oh yeah. And I'm playing it and I'm kind of like, okay, it's an interesting premise. I kind of like it. And before I knew it, I was hooked. Son, I was hooked. From the characters, to the gameplay, to the story, to the presentation of it all. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is the prime example of what I want from an RPG game. I love role-playing games. I really do. It's like Final Fantasy, older games like Breath of Fire, Chrono Trigger, stuff like that, with that classic turn-based combat. But I did start feeling like turn-based was getting a little stale for me, at least with the newer games, because I'm like, they're not really innovating. Maybe that's a me thing, And Baldur's Gate 3 just brought that love back into my heart. It's little details like having your wizard cast grease onto your enemies, which makes them all slip and fall on each other, and then having like your battle mage throw a ball of fire, or even your archer dip their arrow into a lit torch and shoot it into the grease and blow them up. It's simple mechanics like this that really bring the combat to life, really show you the amount of creativity, and that's just on some real basic level stuff, you know what I mean? It's one of those games that really makes you feel like you're in control of the outcomes. And when I mean in control, I don't mean literally, I just mean in the sense that you have some agency as to which direction you choose the story to progress. I love that. I feel like more games need impactful decisions, not just the BS where it's like, oh, you chose something different, so it's a slightly different outcome. Like, no, I want to see radical impacts. I think Baldur's Gate really nails that. And the story is super interesting. You're basically captured by this alien race. They put a bug in your brain. You escape out of this prison. And now you and a bunch of other survivors got to figure out, how do we get this bug out of our brain before it destroys our lives? Thanks for checking out the channel. I'm going to keep the content coming. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is G Rosa signing out.